Howdy, 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 my name is Nashi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Play Hiveswap FriendSim. This time around, we're doing Volume 8. I don't know how many more volumes there are going to be. Let's see, we'll have another one at the bottom of 8. Okay, there's going to be at least one more. This one is of stresses, song, and otherwise. So, another night, another ramble. A classic song comes back to you as you continue on your way. Some of that good old earth wisdom about a specific kind of footwear being made for walking. You wish you had that kind of footwear right now in this current chapter of your life. Or any footwear for that matter. You've definitely learned your lesson about getting overexcited at the prospect of new friends! And running out in nothing but a bathrobe. Ah, who are you kidding? Maybe not in that particular bathrobe way, but chances are high that that wasn't the last time you'll fly off in the buoyant afterglow of an intense friendgasm. Let's see here, we got Tizius Antique. Or Tizius Antique. Tizius? Yeah, let's go with Tizius. Tizius Antique. Whatever. I'm going to Tizius Antique. I'm calling him Tizius Antique. And Chixie Roixmer. We're going to go with the depressed coffee drinking looking dude instead of Chixie for this episode. Because I usually do this one and this one anyway. But she looks so happy. As a matter of fact, she kind of looks like Joey from normal Hiveswap, to be honest. But she looks so happy, and I'd rather start my Monday morning with the guy who looks like he hates Monday mornings right now. So, Tizius Antique. Holy crap. Wow, that was loud. Just up ahead you see a troll leave her hive. Okay, never mind. My bad. Did I click the right button? Or did I just mess up? Well, she's holding an unstable amount of papers and books with one arm, using her free arm to hold a mug steady. Okay, my bad. She isn't paying attention to you, which is fine. Don't get it twisted, you'd love to make another friend. You just understand now that it's a weird flighty thing. Some trolls you mesh with, some you don't. You smile at her just in case, but when she walks right by you without stopping, you shrug. This planet is chock full of friendable weirdos, you'll live. You only take a few more steps before the sound of her absolutely eating shit on the sidewalk makes you turn. It happens fast enough so that you only really see the aftermath of upended books and papers raining down in an impressively wide circle around her. Ah, globes. Damn ass rock. She sits up, but that's as far as she bothers to get. After taking a sip from her mug, which somehow must have stayed level in her grip during her fall, I don't know why my voice just cracked like I just hit puberty. I'm 26. She sighs and gets to work gathering it all back up with her free hand. Yeah, this checks out as a thing that would happen to me. It's not like I have anything else to be doing. You've seen a teen movie or two in your day? You know this trope. The cool kid helps the unpopular nerd after they fall like a chump and embarrass themselves. Then slowly the pair establishes trust. By the time the credits roll, they've gone and fallen in love. Not that you necessarily want to fall in love, or that you're under the delusion that you are in any way cooler than her. But still, it's a tried and true, and also like a pretty standard decent person thing to do. So, like the decent person you hope to be, you skedaddle on over. You stop short just in front of her wide-flung ring of items. You want to make sure she's not going to yell at you or murder you or anything before you interfere. What? Jack, cat busting my ass, I know it's a scene. This is a lot of W's. Well, what are you waiting for? Be a good bystander and stop standing by. She gestures kind of all around her, and that's confirmation enough. You bend to pick up a heavy-looking book, and there it is, emblazoned right on the cover. A gavel. A humongo fucker of a judgment implement, too, with spines all around the handle. Dread creeps up your spine. You slowly slide your gaze from the book's cover up to its owner. She doesn't have any ostentatiously blood-color themed clothes on, though. Wow, she is sporting socks and sandals. Maybe you are cooler than her after all. But the very prominent eye bags are a tinged teal. Ah, globes. A lawyer. It's not that you don't appreciate your one lawyer friend for who he is, it's just you aren't sure you have it in you to sneak your way into the heart of another. You got kind of lucky last time. The scales of judgment in your heart start weighing your chances. Let's pick up more papers. You start making neat piles of all the stuff. After watching you for a second like she's making sure you're not screwing it up, she dramatically heaves herself to her feet and joins the effort. I don't have time for this shit. Make sure to keep the P-34s together in my red folder. You look down at your current pile. B. That's the one with the little hook on top, right? Or is that the G? Sweat pricks at your temples. You picked up a little bit of written Alternian here and there, but you're still not anywhere near competent at it. Sifting through the papers, you search for anything familiar. You make out a few words, but there are just a lot of those little guys on these papers, and you've got performance anxiety. Oh, right. You probably still can't read. You look up at her, startled. How can she tell? Well, I mean, you don't look much like a troll. It isn't exactly a gargantuan mental leap to assume you're not from around here, but I've also heard about you. You straighten up. Any press is good press when it comes to friends discussing you, right? Teals talk. Oh! Unfortunately. Oh. She puts her mug down on the ground and picks up a fallen book, talking as she flips to whatever page she's looking for. That little asshole's gonna have even more unfortunate crap to say to me when he finds out I set us all back by dropping half of our group project in a ditch. She paces in flustered circles until she finds a bookmark among the debris. Flicking a wet leaf off of it, she shoves it in the open spine of the book and slams it closed. Whatever. I can't think about that yet. Gotta get all this back in order first. Right, yeah, the ordering of stuff. You keep at it, doing the best you can to keep similar looking things together. You can feel her eyes on your back, and you turn to face judgment. You basically got it right, actually. He did say you were quick at the draw. I don't know how to draw out the word draw, because I just gotta draw whoa. I'm Desires, by the way. Or way. Should I pronounce that differently now that I know it's not a guy? Because, like somebody said in the last one, I can really only go by how they look until I'm told otherwise. And I was immediately told otherwise, and I was considering just starting over so that that whole train of thought didn't happen. But whatever. She doesn't so much smile at you as grimace. It looks mostly pleased as exhausted expressions go. That's as good friendship building material as any other. You've certainly started with worse than you being complimented. The breeze plays at the edges of her frizzy hair, ruffling a few pages while it's at it. Now that you are frantically trying to prove your helpfulness and have a moment to think, you don't know if the sidewalk is the best place to be starting from scratch with a whole filing system? You open your mouth to tell her as much when a huge papa gust blows in the Breeze Jr.'s wake, blowing the neat stacks back into chaos. Mother grubbing. She sinks slowly back into the snow globe of paper, takes a sip from her mug sitting next to her, and then tilts her head back and unleashes a single deep gut holler. You scuttle around, catching documents out of the air until the gust is gone. It's not that Tizayas doesn't seem capable, it's just that she seems a bit burnt out. You know what it's like to feel like you're at the end of your rope. So now that you have a swinging grab and a handle on things here, you feel like it's your turn to do the heavy friendship lifting. Let's suggest a small breather might help. You know a breaking point when you see one? You weren't expecting it so early in a potential friendship encounter, but still. It's clear that this troll needs some time to chill. This is a mess, yeah? She swings the pendulum of her chin over to glare dead knives at your guts. Okay, yes, it's a mess. But it seems like maybe, just perhaps, it would be best to sort of put a pin in it all. To suck air in and out of our insufflation sacs or whatever and just get it together for a minute. No group projects were ever aced when the clear leader was not at her peak mental performance. She wrinkles up her nose and closes her eyes. You know what? Fine. Fuck it. Not all of it, of course, but this night specifically, and everything, and anyone I know, or have thought extensively about before in my life. So that just leaves you. What do you have in mind, friend? Because I'm all out of ideas. That word still does a number on you, no matter how many times you hear it used flippantly. You have an idea already, so you hurriedly gather her shit into extremely unorganized piles, which she drops off in her hive to deal with later. You have expected her to just not come back out, but she does. She's kept only one heavily annotated tome in her mug, which she nods at when she speaks. I know, but these are just in case. Anyway, what am I hearing right now? Oh, I'm hearing an attic. Do your worst. With a salute and a few gentle tugs at Tizayas' sleeve to keep her moving, you get going. I like the little walking animation. You and your Alternian pals have taken turns leading each other to some pretty wild places in your time here. The place you take Tizayas to, though, is somewhere you haven't shared with anyone. It's where you come back to on days when you can't find a friend or don't want to impose on any of the ones you've made. It's on the outskirts of town, where the buildings are spread thinner until the landscape cuts upwards in a jagged cliff face, bolted into the side of the rock as a tower or what's left of one. It's basically a heap of scaffolding and rusted out ladders holding up a half-covered platform, but it's been a good place to staunch bleeding and stargaze. Do I give off an outdoorsy vibe to you? Does my half-untucked button-up and paltry muscle mass scream would love to scurry up a dilapidated relic? You'd worry about her hating your plan, but you kind of feel like she'd complain no matter where you took her, and at this point the die's cast, so heave-ho, you say? It's stronger than it looks. You offered to hold her stuff for her during the ascent. She gives you the book, but clutches the mug against her chest. You know better than to pry, but you're dying a little wondering why she's so weird about it, unless she's got liquor made from viscera in there. Or maybe her Lussus gave her the mug, so it's special. Could be both. You shrug and start climbing. What if the mug is the Lussus? It's got that same kind of like shadowiness that the Lussuses have. Lussi? I think it's Lussi. Like before, like you thought she would, she follows you. And like before, she complains about it the whole time, and like the structure itself, you both weather it fine. At the top, she looks around. Is this your hive? It's more like a hideout. You still feel a little shy about it. It's not as fancy as your friend's hives, and you don't have any weird animal parent to make you snacks or anything. There are only little keeps that you picked up along the way set up on the creaky old table next to some complicated old tech you couldn't get the power on. This must be an old watchtower. From when that was part of her imperial bitchiness's preferred method of surveillance. She runs her hand over the dusty screen. Oh, Trezza, you learned about her. No. Her bigger, badder, off-world counterpart, the Condess. Ah! You look at the rusted barrel of some terrifying weapon mounted in the corner, and then out over the landscape and sprawling town. In the distance, smoke rises from a freshly demolished hive. Glinting in the moonlight, drones circle it like buzzards. It's been like this here for a while, then. You sit down, your legs dangling off the side of the platform. His eyes joins you a safe distance away from the edge. That is one hell of an understatement. But yeah, we've got a time-honored status quo in operation here. Streamlined. Efficient. Streamlined, efficient, brutal. His eyes looks miserable. That's not what you were going for. You summoned up the old Roy G. Biv in your head for the 1000th time. She should be safe, right? Teals are middle class? And anyway, she's a lawyer. She's got the powers to be on her side. Saying so doesn't seem to cheer her up at all. I mean, you're not wrong. But being in a position to benefit from the system doesn't make the system more morally palatable. And if I'm being real about it, it's more me being forced to uphold it than anything else. She nods toward the book in your hands. Oh, right. How does this all work anyway? Can she just not be a lawyer? And aren't there good ones? Yeah, I can quit. If I want to get cold. There's always a choice, she sighs. It's not like I expect suffering to ever stop completely. It just seems like an awful lot of work to do to make sure it keeps happening. And that's the entire job of a legislator. Unless you're purple enough to get away with it, you're just guilty no matter what. It's just a matter of going through all the fanfare of a trial, all for the same result. It's sick, but it's so normal by now that no one knows how to begin questioning it. She looks more exhausted now than she did during the paper explosion, like when you've used up all your sadness and all you have is a deep broken fatigue. This isn't exactly how the rejuvenating getaway you envisioned. There's just so much injustice. You continue trying to be positive? Are there not political parties, some secret underground movements or anything? Sure, most lowbloods you have met have a healthy, fatalistic nonchalance about their situations, but there's gotta be something else out there. There were a few people who tried to stir shit up back in the day. It's all kinda hushed up and hard to find any information on the history of them, though. Definitely not the kind of thing they teach you in legislator training. One was a mutant blood and the other had wings. So I guess they didn't have much of a chance anyway. You can't imagine the story having a happy ending, but you still want to know more. There's a subtlest shift in her tone of voice now that she's doing more than only complaining. It draws you in. One of them seems to have gathered enough of a following to have become a kind of religious figure from what little I can find out about him. The other one led a military revolt. They both were killed along with their attempts at change. I don't even know what happened to their compatriots. She stops to squint at you. I don't know how you got me talking like this, but in the fuck it spirit of the night, I'm just gonna keep going. If it wasn't clear, I'm telling you things that can get me extremely cold. So like, please be chill. You're so chill, the chillest. And also probably pretty callable yourself. Good point. She squints at you a little longer, and then stares out into the night. Her jaw muscles clenches a few times before she speaks. I have some ideas. If that's getting annoying, I apologize, but I don't really know how else to handle that speech quirk. She's still not looking at you, but she sits up a little straighter. You feel your own spine follow suit almost on its own. All of us trained to be legislators like to practice throwing our weight around. Some of us more than others, which I guess you have first-hand experience with. But we don't have much real power yet. We will, though, if we pass our exams. Which I will. I've been staying up most days studying every documented piece of the law, and some underground stuff too, when I find it. There are exploitable loopholes they don't know about. If I can establish myself as a major player, I might have a chance to change things. Some things you can only take apart from the inside out. By now she's built up a fevered energy, even with the sluggish way she talks. When you shift in your seat, she kind of snaps out of it. Oh, sorry. Guess I got a little worked up. I don't exactly get to talk about this very often. It's kind of overwhelming to think about how fucked up every little thing is all the time. But now that I see it clearly, I can't not do something. It's like alternative's a giant fire and I'm pissing on a tiny corner of it while the rest of everything burns up around me. Your brain is buzzing with how real all that felt. You can't really add anything to it, so you just nod. Are things less abysmal where you're from? Whew, boy. In ways, yeah, at home the accused is called a defendant at least, as in, they get a defense. Her eyes brighten. That's exactly what I'm talking about! Does your justice system work? You exhale slowly, trying to buy yourself time to encapsulate all of your planet's various cultures, societal structures, and similarly overwhelming list of injustices in an intelligent blurb. You settle on, not always. Not for everyone. Her laugh is short and hollow. So much for enlightened life forms existing somewhere in the universe. You guess until a more kind and just alien life... until a more kind and just alien life form comes to take over, you'll just have to make do with each other. Yeah, you're not so bad. I take on an impressive regime with you anytime. She gives your arm an awkward tap with her fist, and then backs out over the edge. Anyway, I'm no religious figure or military strategist. There's gotta be someone out there who is. Gotta use what skills I have instead, I guess, until I find them. What the fuck else would I do with my time? Keep pissing on the fire, that's the best anybody can do, you reckon? That and get others hydrated enough to do the same. She laughs. Keep on pissing, huh? I'll drink to that. She takes a big swig from her mug. After a beat, she silently, and without looking at you, extends her arm your way. You stare in the mug's depths, a little unnerved. It doesn't look like viscera, but you've been burnt before. It won't kill you. You're not sure what it will do, but Desires is truthful if nothing else, so bottoms up. What the fuck? It's water. Desires grins and taps her temple with a claw. Gotta give the people something. Otherwise, they might think I'm the way I am on my own. Then where would we be? You know, letting people in can be helpful, you know, sometimes. Shh. Shh. I'm fine. You're not convinced. Okay, I'll admit it. It's not a bad idea to relax every once in a while. Get your priorities straight. This was a decent time. You're glad she's glad, but mostly you just talked the whole time about the same stuff that she was overwhelmed by to begin with? Does that even count? You learned a lot, but she still looks pretty wiped. As soon as you think that, she yawns. She's so driven. You shiver a bit when you imagine what she could do if she took time to rest for real. You pat the pile of blankets next to you. It's no bed, or a tub of soap or slime for that matter, but it's gotten you through enough. She looks warily at it and yawns again. I guess my Lustus and my mate Sprit will just think I'm at the book hive anyway. One little nap won't hurt. I'll get up early tomorrow and reorganize our stupid busy work project. She tentatively lowers herself down onto the blankets, her eyes close for a brief second before they snap open again, glaring at you with full force. Don't doubt me either. I've got it under control. Oh, you have zero doubts in her abilities, you say. She curls back up against herself, and a small rattle of contentedness shakes in her throat. Out in the distance, the blaze is dimmed to a thin plume of smoke. You hope whoever's hive it was is okay. You're not sleepy, so you'll keep watch to make sure she gets up by sunrise. Doesn't sunrise kill them? You tilt your head back and look up at the unfamiliar constellations. Your head feels full. It's intense and not exactly what you call happy, but you know you're feeling it with her, and that's far from nothing. That's adorable. But now we have to go back and get the bad endings. Unless for once there's more than one good ending. But that never happens. Fast forward. Pick up more papers. Offer to help her organize it all somewhere with less of a breeze risk. Hey, your night is pretty wide open. You wouldn't mind moving this operation to a less windy location and getting it together for real? Yeah, alright. She still sits there kind of dazedly, so you take over. Feels nice to be useful even if you're not super confident about your skills. You at least know how to make a mean pile. After you make a handful of them, she moves to join in the effort, so you shush her back down. You're a helpful McHelp person, and you have got it. She makes a non-committal noise and watches you work. You try not to feel too bad when she winces at a few of your sorting decisions. She doesn't stop you, at least. She scrunches up her face and yawns, which catches you off guard. Man, she really is wiped. You look away from her to do the paper you were about to grab, but it's not there. Maybe it blew into another stack, or you picked it up already and forgot. Yeah, that's probably right. Anyway, she had her eyes closed, so she didn't notice. It'll be fine. Once you have everything kinda together, you help her to her feet. You're pretty sure that was her hive she just walked out of, so you ask if you should go there. No, I was headed to the book hive. I can take you there. She seems to rally a bit now that it's her turn to lead the way. She picks up a hefty stack of her things, balances her mug on top of it all, and starts walking. Move it or lose it. It being the opportunity to engage in some really tedious micromanagement. There's no choice to be had, really. You move it. The book hive is an imposing building, and inside are a series of rooms opening off a central atrium. You walk past one set of double doors showing off a room full of weird statues and display cases, and another one bright with the light of dozens of display screens and humming with electricity. Further around the curve of the room, you pass a room full of brains in jars? It really looks like brains in jars. There's another, still, a windowless one, ostentatiously secured with the multiple padlocks and what looks like a retina scanner? There are a bunch of trolls in each room, and as you keep passing doors, you realize they're almost all teal bloods. Are they the, nerd cast? Wow, harsh. I mean, yeah, though. We kind of are. I know plenty of gold bloods who spend their nerd energy ruining the internet from their basements, and blue bloods usually have their own personal jerk-off book hives. And there are always outliers, I guess. But yeah, between us and the Jades, the book hive is blue-green dweeb city. Josias keeps moving like this is nothing new. To her, you guess it isn't. She pushes a creaky wooden door open to reveal a large study room full of bookshelves and furniture. There are even a few weird-looking ferns decorating the place. And here are a bunch of trolls, some reading, many on their computers. You dump the stuff you lugged here onto one of the tables. The sound echoes in there, and a handful of trolls look your way. Yikes! You hope your presence won't be too conspicuous. You're probably fine. Unless anyone gets horny for acting grown and wants a bounty. But you're with me, so they probably won't mess with you. You're a little surprised by that. Josias, who is slumped down in a chair and is stolidly reorganizing her piles, doesn't exactly give off a brawler aura. No, like they know I'll talk them out of it. Or whine at them about leaving me alone until they do. That makes you feel safe enough, so... time to do some old-fashioned organization. What is this big project anyway? It's just some bullshit. She stops and cuts her eyes around the room, but no one is still paying attention as far as you can see. She starts speaking again and quieter. An assignment for one of my legislator training courses. We're supposed to choose a prosecutable offense from the scrolls of evisceration and list all potential She must be able to sense your eyes glazing over the idea of another long and not parsable legal jargon ramble because she cuts herself off there. It's barely worth describing. Grub school level, honestly, but it's extremely fucking tedious to research and then annotate. Especially when you can't find sources that haven't been scrubbed nice in fuchsia. Anyway, as long as we get things in the right folders in the right order, we should be good for now. Sounds good enough to you? Plenty of time to keep chatting and getting to know each other, though. She said this was a group project, right? Where are her group members? Should they be contributing? Like I'd let them. Just kidding, I'm very good at allowing people to help me. She grits her teeth and nods at you, masterfully setting aside the paper's label with the letter that looks like a little microscope. Case in point. Anyway, they did their parts already. I just want to make sure to add the finishing touches. Right then you hear approaching footsteps. You'd better not be some high blood you gotta take out. I mean, you'll do it if you have to. It's tried and true. You're just not sure how well this dynamic duo would fare in that case. You stop scanning the room for potential bludgeoning material when you see Tizai's expression go from regular tired to tired and annoyed, but not in fear of mortal peril. You hear him speak right as you start to turn. Oh jeez. How the mighty fall, and into a puddle it seems. I can't remember what voice I gave him. You hear him speak right as you start to turn. What? At least my associate seems to be picking up after you fairly efficiently. Fuck off, Sorgor. We'll have it together in time. You sure you don't require any assistance? I'd have to raise my rates from my original offer, but you know it still stands. You did your part already, so spare me both your sales pitch and your company before you give me a second acid tube ulcer. Alright, you need to do those final edits of yours. Subtextual anti-establishment agendas don't insert themselves after all. Suit yourself. See you in class. They give each other an identical but inscrutable hand signal. If the huff of perturbation from a nearby jade is any indication, it's gotta be something vulgar. Perish! He smirks and raises his eyebrows at you as he turns to go. Come by later. You nod. You open your mouth to be nosy, but Tizai sees it coming a mile away. What? You never had a class friend? Someone who does good work but is miserable to hang out with? I don't have time to waste on more than one quadrant or on lying to you, so don't blow a brain gasket. Just when you think you have all the troll dynamics down, you gotta make room for that cursed bastard nuance. Anyway, you guess it makes sense. You and your troll friends have all kinds of weird vibes with each other too. Whatever works. Exactly. You go back to happily sorting. Desires rolls her shoulders and starts leafing through your piles. Where's my... Have you seen a handwritten page? It should be here. She starts double-checking herself. Her pace doesn't so much escalate as it does intensify. Her whole body becomes almost graceful with efficiency. You got everything, right? I thought I watched where it all went. I could have sworn I saw it land. You can help her redo a lost page. It shouldn't be too hard to recreate it. That doesn't help. She glares at you and starts forcefully whispering, still double-checking piles without looking, like she knows them by touch. You don't understand. Those were my personal notes on an extremely sensitive topic I discovered while researching. I was only planning on using it to inform my stance, not turn it in with the rest. It's not here. She stops her futile search, downs the rest of whatever is in her mug, and holds her head in her hands. I'm fucked. I might as well lay down right here until moss grows on my desiccated body. That's dramatic? You don't want to blame her or anything, especially since it is possibly sort of your fault this loss. But you still want to give her hope. Maybe next time she could, use Gorgle Docs. It won't blow away, and it has collaboration settings. You've used them with... Her head pops back up, her features slack. I can't use Gorgle Docs for this. Are you listening? That is the whole point. You know who owns that, right? Every document is monitored. Analog is the only way to do anything unless you know how to get me onto the dark web, which I fucking doubt. If someone found it, if my handwriting is recognized, I'm dead! Then I'll never be able to... She trails off, just sort of slumped in her seat, staring into the void. Shit, you really fucked up. You admit to her that you may have allowed one page to blow away when you weren't paying attention, and that it could possibly have been that one. Great. I can't believe I was stupid enough to let someone else handle things. I was just so tired. Her shoulders start to shake a bit. Oh no. She doesn't cry, but you almost wish she would. The way she just keeps blinking back her tears and hiding her face with her arm is worse. It feels invasive to watch, and thankfully it doesn't last. She sniffs once, clears her throat, and wipes her face with her sleeve. Silently, she stacks up all her things back in a pile. Okay, I need to retrace my steps. Maybe it hasn't been spotted yet. Maybe it'll be okay. It won't, but oh well. You reach to help, desperate to fix the situation, but she gingerly picks your hand up off her books and drops it into your lap. Your stomach sinks to join it. No, don't worry, I've got it. She wrestles it all to a precarious heap in her arms. It wobbles once as she makes her way steadily to the door, but she catches it herself. Head high, she keeps walking. She doesn't look back. So that's one bad ending. Pretty sure there's another one. It's like there's always two bad endings and then one good one, instead of like one bad ending and two good ones. I don't know how there'd be multiple good ones though. Click. Now we just sort of keep standing there paralyzed by choice. You kinda can't look away from that gavel. Those spines could really stab a person's skull right open, huh? Wow, thanks for all the standing around and staring assistance. It's really helping a lot. Definitely can't just do that on my own. You're still stuck on the image. She stands up, grumbling, and snatches the book out of your grasp. She turns, waving a dismissive hand at you. Never mind. Now you're just in my way. She doesn't tell you to leave, but she stops acknowledging you, which you figure is pretty much the same thing. You were iffy about this one from the start, but damn, it turns out rejection still stings. That looks more like one of John's hammers than a gavel. But at least we got to see what the gavel looked like. So, that does it for this episode of Let's Play Hiveswap Friendship Simulator. And okay, cell phone. In the next episode, we'll check out that other person. Oh, I can't hear the music because I turned it down because of how loud the other music was. So, if you liked it, a like and subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.